Welcome inside our TCS studios. I'm Amanda Pflugrad, and joining me now is Sporting News college basketball columnist Mike DeCourcy. And Mike, you just released your list of the top 10 shooting guards for this season. So give me your top 5.
We'll start with Michigan State's Gary Harris, and he's a player who has to grow into this role, into this sort of stardom. Very fine freshman year, not much more you could have asked of him a year ago, but if he's going to be the #1 shooting guard in the country, and frankly, if Michigan State's going to be a legitimate national championship contender, we think that Gary Harris has to grow into an 18, 19-point scorer, a guy who can be a first option for the Spartans, someone who can be worthy of All-America attention. We think that he's got all the ability that you could want with passing ability. He's a defender. He's a terrific shooter. Frankly, just needs to be a busier shooter. He could take lessons from that from our #2, no doubt about that, Russ Smith, who does nothing more frequently than shoot the basketball. Russ Smith was a volume shooter for Louisville, but a game-changing player, someone who made Louisville into a national championship contender. Didn't show that well at the Final Four, so some people are wondering about his legitimacy as an All-America. We don't have any doubts about that. We think that Russ Smith is going to have a fantastic senior season and be worthy of being at least the #2 player on this list. #3, Rasheed Suleiman from Duke, consistent, knows his role, will be a terrific player for Duke this season. We expect him to average 16, 17 points a game, to be the perimeter threat that maybe Duke didn't always have last season when Rasheed was only a freshman. We think that without a doubt, Rasheed Suleiman belongs very high in any list of the top shooting guards in college basketball. Tyler Haws from BYU, who may lead the nation in scoring this year, a guy who is a fine athlete, a very good, very versatile offensive player, scores inside, outside, off the catch, makes free throws. A guy who probably needs, like a lot of players in these lists, needs his team to do better for him to get more attention. BYU did not make the NCAAs last year. They did not win their biggest games in the West Coast Conference. They've got to do more this season with their opportunities in the WCC. There's no doubt in my mind Tyler will do his part in making that happen. And the 5th player, Spencer Dinwiddie from Colorado, a guy who could have been ranked as well as a point guard who maybe will play on the ball even more this season than he did a year ago, but versatile, great size, penetrating ability, shooting ability. I think he just needs to be a greater part of Colorado's offense, a more integral part of it. Last year, Colorado didn't really have a guy. They had a lot of players that they spread it around to, Dinwiddie being a big part in that spreading around. But I think they have to run more things through Dinwiddie and rely on him to score more points for them to continue their ascent in the Pac-12 Conference.
Thanks for joining us, Mike. And to see the full list, log on to sportingnews.com.